government said, Aboriginal title, it's okay, we can talk about that. We think you have Aboriginal title, rights to fish, Aboriginal rights to hunt. You know, don't worry about that, we'll recognize that. But when it came to land, absolutely no. So that is the battleground right now on the question of land. So as we intervene and put together our legal arguments with our lawyers, as you know, the summit didn't have the resources. And Chief Gary Feschuk from Sechelt came and talked with us and said, we'll put some money down, we'll put some resources into this fight, so you can hire the best lawyers to fight on our behalf, our collective behalf. Not just on behalf of Sechelt, but all First Nations here. We'll put forward money to support and pay for the legal costs. He went to his council, he went to his community, and the community agreed to put forward the money. Chief Calvin and council, former Chief Feschuk, Chief and members of the council, chiefs and council members and leaders and our people, from the very deepest parts of our hearts want to thank you for what you have done and the way that you helped stand us all up by your very, very generous contribution in supporting in our collective way the fight that we took to the Supreme Court of Canada in support of the Chalcotin people. So, Chief and to members of council, on behalf of all of our chiefs, we say, Masi Cho Haitska CM.
We supported Gary's efforts, and we did it 100%. And Gary had the courage to stand up and speak on our behalf. And Gary's undertaking many other challenges to push issues forward in our behalf. But our people understood and realized that this man needed some help. So they called this old chief back up to give Gary a hand, and I was happy to do that. And I speak about that because when I was a young chief in the 70s, I had the privilege and the honor of working with many former chiefs like Ed Newman, Chief Joe Mathias. I sat on many boards with them on the Alliance of Bands, and we pushed our efforts forward to fight for the justice of our people. And we still do that today.
I really believe that this is the most important fight that's in front of the First Nations at this point, and we were happy to be involved because it's going to determine how we move forward with our title case. Because right now we're doing commission evidence in our territory in Sechelt, where we set up our own courtroom in our elders' boardroom, where all of our elders are being interviewed and recording all of the history from our territory. And we finished one, we have another one scheduled for, I believe, next month. And we have a couple more after that. And the sad part about all that is that in order for us to get Canada and BC to approve to do the commission evidence, BC approved right away. We had to take Canada to court in order to get them to agree that we can do the commission evidence because we were losing too many of our elders. And the sad part about it is that we lost 2 elders in this process while we're taking Canada to court for them to agree just to do the commission evidence in Sechelt. And when those people passed on, a lot of our history passed on too, that could have been very helpful in our court case because we have so much information now and we've retained so many experts and we've retained our legal firm that Canada and BC have come back to us and asked that we can share the experts because we've retained every single one of them. And it's strategic on our part because we're not allowing them to to have an edge on us. Because in the end, when the Chilcotin win their court battle, it's going to make it a lot easier for every nation who's following them to move forward. So we are honored. I really want to thank the summit for allowing us to participate, even if it was in a way that we contributed financially. But in the end, it's a victory for all of us when this court case comes through. And the same thing with the residential school. I believe in the end, and I said this yesterday, in the end, the governments aren't going to be able to hide from the truth. And that's the whole goal, is that we keep moving forward, but we do it collectively. So I was just happy to be just a small part. And I want to thank our council, because our council, I believe, were very brave in coming forward. And our staff were very brave in coming forward in supporting this intervention.
And I am really proud to stand alongside my colleagues on the Leadership Council and to acknowledge Sechelt for the tremendous leadership that they've showed, not only with respect to the William case before the Supreme Court of Canada, but to acknowledge former Chief Feschuk and Chief Calvin and all of the council for the tremendous leadership that Sechelt has shown dating back over 25 years ago as he blazed the trail and became self-governing here in British Columbia, and how becoming self-governing and moving forward with strong and appropriate governance has transformed your community and set in place a path for all of our nations to follow, and acknowledge the leadership that you've shown, and to support what is going to be another transition for our First Nations when we do receive the first declaration of title in William. Not to prejudge the judgment, but we sat in the courtroom that day, and to hear the judges having advanced beyond the discussion about whether or not title existed to having discussions about how we're going to govern those title lands so declared, to me was remarkable. And I can't wait to blaze the trails in a world where we have a declaration of title. And I acknowledge Sechelt, Maria, and your entire team, as well as all of the interveners, Robert, and everybody that showed such tremendous leadership in the Supreme Court of Canada that day. Gail Costa, on behalf of everyone, thank you.
Thanking Mr. Chairman for the opportunity to acknowledge the courage and the strength of our leadership here, of our relatives, Sechelt, raising our hands in gratitude for the example that you have set for our future generations to never give up in speaking our truth. This is a game changer when we put the government of Canada in a position that they have to prove their strength of claim, their legitimacy to our lands and our territories and our resources.
Today was a really significant day for us because at a time when we were bringing this land rights issues about the Aboriginal title to the Supreme Court of Canada in support of the Chilcotin people, it was the Sechelt people, the Sechelt community, through the council, in particular through Chief Gary Feschuk, stood up and said we will support the First Nations Summit in ensuring that you have no problems financially, to make sure that our issues are properly before the Supreme Court of Canada. And with that, we have to raise our hands to the Sechelt people for what they've done for all First Nations in British Columbia.